Hello! As you can see, the old setup that I was doing previously has returned. I tried something different for my last video and decided I didn't like it, so I'm just going back to doing this for now. And I know it's kind of like podunk, but it is what it is. But anyway, long time no see, which to be fair, I did warn was going to happen in my last video. To be honest, there's just multiple reasons why it takes me so long to release videos. For one, I have a full-time job that takes priority over anything else, and sometimes I just don't have time to draw or to make videos. And on the note of making videos, another reason is it is very much a hobby for me. It's not something that I'm really even interested in ever making a career out of. I feel like I want to do it when I feel like I want to do it, and there are times where I just don't feel like doing it, so I don't do it because it's just not fun for me to do it when I don't want to do it. And the whole point of this channel and me making these videos is for it to be fun, so kind of counterproductive. Also, when I made my last video, summer was like halfway over, and that was like one of the lucky times where it wasn't as hot in this room that I record in. So I was able to actually tolerate sitting here and making a video. But when summer is at its peak, or when it gets really hot, it becomes a fucking toaster in this room, because this wall back here that you see is pretty much well the size of this entire room. It's fucking tiny. So as you can imagine, when it's super hot during the summer, it becomes Satan's asshole in here. And so I don't really want to sit here and make videos. Getting overly hot like that actually makes me feel nauseous because I am a chronically ill girly, so. But I am finally back because it is now fall, actually going into winter. It's a lot cooler in here. I've actually been wanting to sit in here again. And I finally got around to finishing a piece. It is fan art for a character in a game that I really enjoy called Immortal Life. Now, if you don't know what Immortal Life is, it's like a life sim slash farm sim, kind of like Stardew Valley, though to be honest, it's really not like Stardew Valley at all. It's a bit more gruesome, for one. Like, one of the first cutscenes in the game where the story's being introduced kind of guested my flappers a little bit. I won't spoil it if you want to go see it or you've been planning on playing the game. But aside from that, the gameplay itself is, while it has some similarities to Stardew Valley, is very different overall, to be honest with you. And to be honest, I'm going to say something a little controversial here. And keep in mind, this is not me saying I dislike Stardew Valley. I have over 1,000 hours in that game. Obviously, I like it. But I like Immortal Life a little better. I mean, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, Stardew Valley is an over 10-year-old game. There's bound to be games in the genre that come out that are similar that are just going to be done better. Like, fundamentally, right? I think Immortal Life is that in a lot of ways, to be honest with you. I think the story is a lot more interesting, the characters are a lot more interesting, the cutscenes for the characters, again, are sometimes nuts. Like, it's definitely not boring, and that is one thing that I would have to say in terms of criticism with Stardew Valley, is the characters in Stardew Valley just really don't do it for me. I don't play that game for the characters at all. Like, none of them really tickle my fancy, to be honest with you. Like, I don't feel particularly inclined to romance or marry any of them because I really just don't think any of them have a whole lot going on. The only ones who have kind of interesting stories and character arcs are Haley and Shane. So that is one aspect that, of course, I think Immortal Life does a lot better. The cooking minigame in this game is super fun. Overall, I really recommend this game. And so I wanted to make fan art for my favorite character in the game, and I don't dislike any of the other characters by any means, but she is like my favorite by far. Like, it's not even close. I saw this character and I was like, this bitch is ethereal. What the fuck? What were they on when they made her? Like, I want some of it because she's gorgeous. Now, this game is set in like a China adjacent world, so the names are Chinese, so I apologize if I completely butcher her name. I'm not trying to, but I believe it's pronounced Song Yon Tong. Please don't crucify me if that's wrong, but if you don't know who she is, this is her. Very pretty, yes, I know. And I'm hoping with this fan art I did that I did her justice. I will say I am a lot more happy with this than some of my other arts that I have done recently. Arts, yes. Artworks, whatever you want to say. Now, if you've watched my past few videos, especially like the more recent ones, you may know that I've been going through like a bit of a crisis when it comes to painting my hair, and this one was no exception, unfortunately. And the way that started is with my Mita fan art, which, oh my god, I need to go back and like redo that at some point, because that is genuinely like one of my least favorite pieces I've done in a while. It just did not come out the way I wanted it to at all. And unfortunately, a lot of that I think is because of frustration, mainly with the hair. Because what happened there is the brush that I have been using, I just yawned, but the brush I've been using, it's from the Jing Sketch like brush set for Procreate, and it's the hair texture brush in that set that for smaller pieces from a distance, it looks pretty okay. Like I used that for my Sam Does Arts Pause challenge. I used it for the Halloween nail like inspired witch that it's not a video, but I did post it like in my community tab, and it looks pretty good on those pieces. But when it's a bigger piece like that Mita fan art was, where the hair like you see in a lot more close up, I didn't like it at all. So there was just a lot of fiddling around and trying to find a brush and a technique that I like to paint hair with. And the hair in that piece, I think, is probably like the only thing that turned out okay. But unfortunately, I didn't really want to continue using the brush I used in that, because I was like, well, it looks okay, I guess, but I think I can find something better. And the brush there, I think, was also from the Jing Sketch like paint set, and it was like the messy paint brush or whatever, and again, it looked alright, but I didn't really I wasn't sold on it. And ultimately what I wound up doing for this piece is just using the same brush I used for the whole rest of it, which is the Raw Straws Advanced Brush Set oil paint brush. And I figured that I would do that because I'm like, you know what, well, if you don't like blend this brush, it is really good for blending, but if you don't do it, it actually has kind of a hair texture. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to use it and just not blend it and see what happens. And then I had to go through like a few iterations of doing that before I got something that I'm okay with how the hair turned out here. I think there is still some room for improvement. It's not like perfect, but I think I'm going in the right direction here. And this one was even harder too, because she has white hair, and for me, white hair has always been kind of hard, and just white things in general, but especially hair, because the way I paint hair, a lot of the time, I intentionally use the base color and make it like a little lighter than I actually want the hair to look overall, because I really wind up darkening it with the shading. And when you have white hair, the way I typically do it, it winds up making the hair look gray and not white, which is kind of the like exact opposite of what I want. And I've kind of had to get over myself with that a little bit, because it's like, you know what, realistically, someone who has white hair, the shading and the dimension in the hair, it would make it look a little bit more like a gray and not just pure stark white, you know? So with the way I shade and my art style, it's gonna kind of just have that look, and it like is what it is. I think you can definitely still tell it's supposed to be white hair, so I think it's okay. I will say it's kind of unfortunate that I kind of figured out like the brush and the technique that I like the most now, because to be quite honest with you, another reason why this piece in particular took so long, like it took me months to finish it, I'm not kidding. And a big part of that, aside from the stuff I mentioned before, is I'm kind of just falling out of love with Procreate. I hate to say it, but I don't know. It's just, there's certain little things that the big thing I really like about Procreate is the brushes that I've, collected over the years. But as far as the program itself, I feel like I'm just ready to move on, honestly, because there's a lot of little things and like glitches with Procreate, at least for me, that just kind of inconvenience me. And they're little things, but when you add them up, it's one of those things where a bunch of little things make a big thing, where it's all these just little tiny things throughout the drawing process that really annoy me. And by the time I'm done, I am just not having a good time anymore. So what I actually did is I bought a license for Clip Studio Paint and will be probably using that for at least the next couple videos while I try it out, because I have heard very good things about it for both the desktop and the tablet version. So that's one thing that really kind of drew me to it too, is that there's like a cloud and you can kind of switch between devices, and I do have both an iPad and more recently a drawing tablet, so that is something I'm actually very eager to check that out and see how that works. It really is kind of unfortunate having, I'm not going to completely say goodbye to Procreate, but I think it's going to be reserved for more like simple pieces or just smaller things, and I'm not going to keep using it to do pieces with more detail like this one, assuming I can find a different program that I like better. I'm hoping Clip Studio Paint will be that for me. I have kind of fiddled around in Clip Studio Paint right now, and it makes me kind of nervous because I'm not a super big fan of a lot of the default brushes, but there is also like a library pretty much where you can go and download brushes for it. So I've been doing that and kind of experimenting a bit, and I think I'm kind of starting to, figure it out, kind of starting to get a feel for it, and I do like some of the brushes I've downloaded, so that's a good start. And I'll even spoil my next piece a little bit because I have already started it, just, trying to get a feel for Clip Studio Paint and check it out. It is going to be fan art for another game, a lot like this, called Fields of Mystria, and it is going to be one of my favorite bachelorettes in the game. I won't spoil who it is, but it's going to be fan art for that game. And it's going to actually be done in a bit of a different style than this. Like, if you see my icon, it's going to be a very similar style to that, because what happened is this game, it's a horror game. It's based on Alice in Wonderland. That's called Habromania, and that is, the art style for that game is one of my favorite art styles I have ever seen. So it really kind of inspired me to make another piece kind of similar to my icon, because I think there's definitely a lot of differences between that art style I have and the art style of Habromania, but I think there's a lot of similarities. I won't get too much into that though, because that's a different video. Not that there's really much room at this point for me to talk about this video, because I've spent so much time yapping that it's most of the way done already. That's one thing. A lot of people talk about how when they first start YouTube, they don't like talk as much, or they make their videos shorter because they really just don't know what to talk about the whole time. I'm a fucking yapper, bro. I can find shit to talk about, let me tell you. I'm kind of circling back to the hair for a minute because it is what's being done on the screen right now. The video might look a little choppy because, as I mentioned before, I did go through a little bit of a crisis with this piece with the hair as well, and had to, kind of redo it a few times before I got something I liked. And the overall time lapse for this video wound up being almost 2 hours, with almost half of that being the fucking hair. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna cut that out. My last video, where it was me doing a little fan art for my founder for the Very Veggie Legacy Challenge in The Sims 4, I didn't do that, even though I did also kind of try the hair over and over in that video too, because it was a smaller piece. It didn't really make the video super long, and to be quite honest with you, it was another one of those things where that was like the majority of the time lapse, so I didn't want a 5-minute video because I cut like all of it out, and I don't know, maybe that would have been okay, instead of people like watching me just fiddle with the hair for several minutes. So, it's a catch-22. But for this one, it took, like, this character has a lot more hair than that character does, or at the very least, I drew more of it because that character, her name is Brandy, I had a much more close-up perspective for her, so you don't see as much of the hair, even though her hair is long, and then obviously you can see more of the character in this piece. Like, you can see her face and a fair bit of her back, so her hair is ridiculously long, so that means I had to draw most of it. And that's another thing that, it's not a new thing by any means, but it's something I've struggled with. Long hair is a lot harder for me to shade for some reason than shorter hair is. I don't know if maybe other people can relate to that, but for me, I don't know. It's just, I have a much simpler time because it's just a smaller area, I guess, and it's easier for me to make it look good. But I have a much easier time with shorter hair, and I like to torture myself because a lot of the characters I draw, like you saw it with the artworks that I just put up on the screen a little bit ago, I don't like drawing characters with short hair a lot. A lot of them wind up having longer hair, and then for, you know, the pause challenge and the nail witch art that I showed, they have curly hair. So yeah, I like to just make my life difficult, but you know what? I'm not gonna get better at it if I don't do it. So maybe I'm doing myself a favor, and maybe you should do yourself a favor and intentionally draw things that are harder for you to draw. I mean, that's literally just what practicing art is, isn't it? And it is a little frustrating sometimes, and you might have to try several times before you get something you like. It kind of just is what it is. But anyway, I won't keep harping on forever and ever. This time lapse is about to be over. I will just mention real quick, I did kind of do a background in this piece. I didn't get super crazy with it, like I didn't care too much about like making it look like she was part of the background or whatever. I just kind of wanted to put a background in there just to make it to where it wasn't like a flat color in the back. Like my last piece I posted with Brandy, I got fucking lazy. I won't even lie to you. I didn't do a background. I just left it like gray in the background. But I do kind of want to get away from that because I do that a lot where it's just a solid color in the background, or like with my Sam Does Arts Pause Challenge where I do like a flat color circle in the back. I wanted to do something just a little more interesting for this piece. So I kind of made it look like the mountains and the forest in the game where this character lives. And I thought about doing like bamboo shoots as well, because that's like, she's got like a little bamboo forest surrounding her. But to be honest, I was like, that might be a little too crazy. You know, I kind of want to ease into this a little bit. I don't typically like making backgrounds and don't usually do super detailed backgrounds, so I didn't want to get too out of hand with this. So, but I definitely think it looks pretty okay, all things considered. But yeah, the time lapse has been done, so I'm gonna get out of here now. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I did enjoy making it. I promise. It's not that I dislike doing this. That's not why it takes me so long in between videos. Like I said, I just get busy. I don't necessarily always feel like doing it. This piece I was kind of getting a little bit burnt out because of Procreate. But I will say I am actually quite happy with the final product of this piece, and making this video was fun. So it kind of feels like we're so back, you know, because oh my god, that Mita fan art really just knocked me down for a bit. I was like, I am so bad at drawing. What the fuck is this? But yeah, I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be. I can't make any promises, unfortunately. Hopefully it'll come a little faster than this video did. But if you don't mind the wait, I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!